Welcome to Inspired by Design, the podcast where we explore the tools, stories, and insights to help you rediscover your authentic self and navigate life with less resistance. I'm Katie Rupert, a former hustle and grind overachiever on a thrilling and messy journey. I'd love to share what I'm learning and help others in self-discovery using human design. So, if you're seeking a way to move forward, let me be your weekly mindset coach and share stories to inspire you to action towards your unique purpose without the force or burnout. Hello and welcome back. I'm so glad you're here to join me. Last month, I offered an incentive to win a free human design mini session with me for rating, reviewing, doing a testimonial. The username is Rosemary All Day. So congratulations, Rosemary. She writes with a 5-star review on Apple. I look forward to listening to this every week. It's so informative and relatable. I always come away with new information that inspires me and helps me know how to improve myself and my communication. Highly recommend to anyone wanting to know more about their self-discovery system and just good life tips too. So thank you for that amazing review, you guys. From what I understand, the way that podcasts get out are by when people listen to them, when they share them, and when they rate or review them. So I appreciate all of you who have taken the time to stop me either locally and just say like, hey, I listened to the pod, and encourage me. I'm so grateful. This has been well beyond the experience that I expected. And we're just barely getting started. I have a lot for you today, but we're just going to do some reflection time. And I've been working on interviewing some people that I think you're really going to be inspired by. I have 3 interviews for you so far to listen to this month. And before we get started with those, I just wanted you to know that when I'm thinking about you, the person that takes the time to listen to this podcast, my goal is always to inspire you to take action on something that you've been holding back on. And what that looks like could be something as simple as, well, the kids have so much stuff going, I never have time to get there. Or whenever I have an hour, I will go to that yoga class, or I will go back to school, or I will sit down and breathe for 30 seconds. Whatever it is, I know that you can be and show up who you need to be right now, and that the world doesn't fall apart just because you take time for yourself. And in fact, the very reason why you hold back on taking care of yourself and doing the things that you are meant to do, to help others, to put others first, to serve them, and you've got all the right motives. When you take the time to do that, you're actually going to be helping your people, the ones that you love the most, the ones that you've been sacrificing yourself for. When you take care of yourself, that's a better way of taking care of them. And I know you don't believe it right now, but that is my mission. I'm going to help you believe it and start to trust that what is best for you. And when you take care of yourself, that is actually what is best for those people that you give and give and give to. So it is now a few days into April, but every day I have this little quote board that I tear a page off. It's a quote calendar, if you will. It's called Tiny Buddha. And I've had this now for 2 years, and they are different quotes, so that was kind of fun. But the quote from March 30th kind of stopped me in my tracks, and I said, next time I do a recording, I really want to share this. Today I want to share with you just some observations and some life lessons that I'm learning in the messy middle of, and I want to see if you can relate to them. And this just felt too on point. And I don't really believe in coincidence, so let's see what you think. Gemma Monroe says, "You are not behind. It is not too late. You are exactly where you need to be right now. Every step you've taken has been necessary. Give yourself credit rather than berating yourself for how long your journey is taking. We all need our own time to travel our own distance."
It really stopped me in my tracks because this is one of the lessons that I'm learning. I wonder if you are too. Did you know everything you've been doing and this moment for such a time as this, you are exactly where you need to be, even if it's messy, even if you, in air quotes, should have already been there, should have figured this out yesterday. Man, give yourself, trust yourself that this is your time to be exactly where you are and you're on your way. You're doing it right. And that leads me into some reflections I have from this weekend. It was the first time that I solo led a retreat. It was a retreat of my leadership team, and usually collaborate with other leaders, and it's always been fantastic. So it felt like a bit of courage and a bit of, oh, I hope that it gives them enough value, some of those second guessings that I'm sure you can relate to as well. I set out to do this retreat on my own. I've had a passion to do retreats. I'm obsessed with yoga retreats. Growing up, I did women's retreats all the time, different flavors of them, different um, themes. I've been a leader in almost all of them that I've attended, or a speaker at least. And this one it felt different because I'm like, okay, well, if they don't get a lot of value out of it, then it'll all be on me. But that's not really true because, as you know, what you get out of something is what you put into it. It's the perspective, the glasses that you're looking through. So even if I would have messed every single thing up, someone that came with a mind that was ready to learn, was ready to grow, was ready to dig deep and figure something out, or as I showed up for the retreat, to rest, to get back in touch with me. So I created a retreat that I needed. And sometimes retreats hold me back because of the cost, or I don't have time, or I already did something like that. And I shouldn't take time away from my family again. But I mean, this was something I've been planning for a while. And here's the observations. As a leader of a retreat, I really wanted to create some space. And what does that look like? So many times we go to conferences, especially work related retreats, and this one was bent towards business a little bit, but I wanted to bring in all the things that I love, yoga and quiet and the moon phase planning, which I am so excited to bring you in an interview here coming up real soon. You'll hear more about what moon phase planning is. But I wanted to bring in all of me, from my personality and my quirkiness to the stuff I've learned through business. And holding space for others, figured out this weekend, maybe not for the first time, but it really dawned on me that holding space for others is not necessarily holding space for myself. So even though I planned in a lot of rest time, a lot of downtime, it turned out that when you're in the leadership role, you can miss out on the actual personal transformation. For example, I planned in a digital detox. So that's what we started the retreat with. I said, call your people, let them know you're going to be like not able to answer your phone, check all of your messages and your emails and stuff. So we took like 20 minutes to do all that so that no one had like a nervous system freak out when we put our phones down for an hour. And I gave them this little creating your own calm journal. And I just said, just go be by yourself. Use this journal, take some time to reflect. And I gave them some questions. And I'll give you some of these questions too, if you'd like to give this a try. But basically, I just wanted to unplug a little bit. I knew that unplugging completely wasn't going to be the whole weekend. I wasn't leading a silent retreat or anything, but it was lovely. I went out on the boat dock. We had a fantastic weather. It was beautiful out. I sat and I journaled and I got quiet, and that was really lovely. But then I kept thinking about, okay, I wonder what what everyone's doing. I hope they don't think this is too long. I'm in my head. I was like, okay, that's all right, Katie. That's normal that you're going to think that. And so when we came back together and got everyone's reflections, it went fine. Everyone was fine. Um, but I noticed, I was like, oh, wow. Like as a student, if someone told me to unplug, I wouldn't be thinking about others and how they're taking their digital detox time, right? So I just thought it was interesting. I don't really have any answers or any beautiful things to say about it, but I did notice that holding space for others to have relaxation, to have rest, to connect with themselves isn't necessarily, if I'm leading that, it isn't necessarily going to be for me. So I'm going to have to carve out time to do that for myself. I also noticed it takes a little while to unwind. So if you're thinking, hey, an hour is enough time to stop overthinking, no, this is a life lesson. So it's just going to be like meeting people where they are, right? But I really thought that it was a good lesson for me to see. So I intentionally planned all of this downtime, right? Go take time to be strategic and work on those things that you never get time for because, business is always moving forward. And we talked a lot about mindset and the perspective. And of course, we talked about human design. We had a lovely conversation about everyone's personality profiles, which we talked about in the last episode. And whether it's communication, how you show up differently. And I do think it's important to consider, how do I want to show up? And what's cool about human design is, here's the role that you were meant to play. Do you want to accept this role? That was another observation I had, just being in touch with, I'm a 5/2, and as a 5, practical solutions. So human design is one of the most practical solutions oriented thing that I've ever met. It's like a blueprint for high achievers. It's like, here, do you want things to feel easier? Learn your human design and try it. It's a fresh approach. It's like, it is so helpful. And just about everyone that I worked with, and even told just a little tidbit about like how your energy works or how your decision making works, or even your personality, it really is a practical tool. So I shared that. And then the other side of my number is really needing to hermit away and be alone. So it was a very small group of us, and I was teaching, talking, and it really gave me energy to do this. So as a manifesting generator, when I do things that I love, I fill up my tank. I got energy from it. But I will say what was really interesting to me, and had I not done that quiet time, that creating space to get away from the world, I don't think I would have tuned in quite as much. But after training or doing a session, I did, several throughout the day, but after that, I would notice my body would respond like, okay, you've given, and now I need you to go take. And so what I was tuned into, that I really I don't have another example that's exactly like this, but in my body, I felt like I just really want to go lay flat. And now I do resonate with that quite often. If I like do a big speaking gig, or I'm like doing a pampered chef party and there's a lot of people, usually by the time I get home, I'm like, I just want to lay down and not talk to anyone for a minute. And that just seems like normal, right? But there was something in my body that was like, everyone's chatting and they're excited about what they just learned, and they're going back and forth, and they're so energetic, like it propelled them to get started. For me, once I taught, I was like, I just need to kind of take a minute to myself and not do anything. I don't want to talk about it anymore. And so I just kind of went into my room, retreated, and got a little of that energy back. And getting to do that, having the space to really live into the need to be the leader, give the solution, and then hermit away for a little while, it felt really good. So still experimenting with my design. So those were a few observations from the weekend. And I don't know about you, but if you've never been on a retreat of some kind, like a yoga retreat, a business retreat, something like that, I would encourage you to go find one. And if you have an opportunity for one, just know that I cannot see where if you take the time out for yourself that you could ever regret it. And so if you have any retreats coming up, I would love to know about them too. That's something that I love to attend and I love to support. So if you have a retreat and you need a yoga instructor or a speaker, you want human design to be weaved in, that would be something I would love to help with in the future. Another thing that I wanted to share today is this week we're transitioning. So I have astrology friends and I don't know a ton about astrology. I someday I will. I go to an astrology class with my friend Tess once a month, and I listen to some podcasts, and I think they're so fun, and they kind of go hand in hand with human design. And one of the things that I took away from this last week, we had a solar eclipse, and I've been learning about the moon phase planning that you'll hear more about here in a couple episodes. But this is a really great week to brainstorm, to consider what needs to go, and to consider your resources. Meaning, what is it that I have in my life that I can use to my advantage? What are the things that I've created in my life that are for my benefit? So, this could be like money, talents, networks, your community. And it made me think about some of the questions that I was asking these gals at the retreat to reflect on. So I'm going to give you a few of these questions, and I'm not going to say too much about them because I'd love for you to grab a pen and, when I ask the question, you could answer just a few sentences for yourself. First, what are you creating with this life that you're living? What are you creating? Could be, what experience do you want to create? What experiences do you want to live? If you're goal oriented like I am, what results are you trying to create in your life? And if you ask that question, why? Why are you trying to create that result? Why do you want those experiences? What's in it for you to create that? And if your answer is, oh, it makes me money, what is money doing for you? What's in it for you to have money, to have resources? What is it that you're actually going for? Like, what's the end goal here? And reflect on, what are you really looking for? Is it a sense of self-worth? Is it a sense of peace? What are you going for? Like, what do you want? Is it retirement? Is it are you wanting to be one of these um, country porch swing sitters? I'm in my rocking chair and that's what I want to do with the rest of my life when I've created whatever it is. And how do you want to show up? Are you going for rest? Are you going for accomplishment? It's just interesting to know how you answer these questions. And really, you're the only one that needs to know the answers. Everyone has a story and a journey to consider. Like, what is it that makes you you? Here are a couple more questions. What decisions do you need to make? Sometimes for me, I just need to list out things that I need to decide on because I'll get wishy-washy, or I could do this or I could do that, all the possibilities, right? What decisions are needing to be made right now in your life? And here's another, what needs to go? You probably know what needs to go. All right, so those are some questions, some observations, and lessons that I'm learning. If I could narrow that down, it's like I'm still learning the lesson of self-trust. How can I know that I'm worth taking the time to do the things that I need to do, that I want to do, just because I'm me? Not needing to justify why I'm worthy or to prove my worth. That's a lesson that's still being learned by me. And I can peel the layers back. Come a long way, have a long way to go. Another lesson I'm learning is all about nervous system regulation. And that's a big fancy way of saying how I manage my stress, if you will. Part of managing stress and overwhelm is all about knowing when it's happening and being able to cope with it in the moment and have tools in your belt for that. So I think of the tools that I have, like I do breath work and I practice tapping and I practice yoga, practice now hermiting, if you will, because of my human design. Human design in itself is a great tool for my nervous system regulation, my stressor, overwhelm management. Mindset work and life coaching has been another tool that I've learned not only in as a student, but also as a teacher and as a coach. And so I just don't think that I learn the lesson and check it off the box, but I have enough experience with this overwhelm stress thing to know when I'm in it. And I have one little story for you, and it happened today. I didn't really intend to tell this, but I went to an early morning yoga class this morning. It's a faster pace. So I'm kind of one of those stretchy, flowy, let's lay on the floor yoga friends. But this one's a higher intensity. So I got out of bed, I got dressed, and then I ran out the door. Got to class right as it was starting, so felt a little rushed. My body was not quite prepared for doing the things that were being asked of me. So I found myself like, ugh, I'm tired. I'm not in it. It's not relaxing. My mind is all over the place and yoga's not doing what it typically does for me. All right. And then I go straight over, usually after a hot yoga class, I'll go do a cold plunge. So I was like, well, I know I love doing that. So I went and I did a cold plunge and I looked at the time. I was like, oh, shoot, I have an appointment. I need to make sure I'm on time. So I'm watching the clock now. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do a float. Now, if you're local to me, Serenity Now Float Spa is my favorite place to go hang out. It is amazing. Highly recommend it. And actually, I'll put in the show notes. If you've never tried it, I have like a little code that you can get a discount on. I don't know what it is off the top, but I will figure it out. And if you want to try it out, if you live near O'Fallon, Missouri. So anyway, I go to the float and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna float. I have plenty of time to do this. I'm just gonna relax. And in the float, I was able to relax a little bit. But then when I got out, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to get going. So I like rush home. And by then I'm feeling a little dizzy. I haven't eaten. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just did all of my favorite things, doing yoga, getting an early start on the day, going to the spa, doing things that are meant to be self-care. And I did them in such a way that I realized I was not. It was almost more stressful to do these stress management tools that I have used. And I hadn't really had that experience with any of those things before, but it was like almost like, okay, Katie, this is a lesson that you have, it's not perfect. You are not going to learn this lesson perfectly. You have to be intentional. If I look back, I actually did push. I was not in the mindset of being present for yoga. And that's what it's meant to teach me. I was just allowing the rush to take over. And it was very eye-opening. Like, I teach this stuff and I help people overcome their stress and their overwhelm through mindset. And I so easily just wasn't in it today. And I can also say that I'm not beating myself up for it. I'm kind of glad to have had the experience. It's like, wow, it is so important. The journey's not over. Like we just need to show up each day. So I guess that's my point. And that leads me to my final thing for today. The next 3 weeks are interviews, and I think you might like these interviews even more than the solo episodes. I hope that you really get a lot out of them, but I'm so excited to bring them to you. One of the things that's happening here in April is my little signature event. It is something I started through my Pampered Chef business. It was an idea baby that was born. It's been probably a year and a half now. And I was thinking about how, I've been through all this life coaching training. I've been working as a coach and a leader in Pampered Chef for a long while. And I did my yoga certification and started incorporating yoga. So I was doing all these things that weren't specific to pampered chef parties and using these. I mean, the tools are amazing. Learning how to cook has been amazing for me. All the things that go with pampered chef, all of them are fantastic. And then I was doing this other stuff that was just as amazing over here to support my pampered chef business. And I thought there's got to be a way for me to marry all of my passions in one place. So it started out as something that I did just for when you have a birthday, you would be invited to this event and we do mindset, movement, and meal prep. And it evolved. And what it is today is a little less than a week. I do some live videos through Facebook right now in my little community group called Inspired by Design with Katie Rupert. So if you haven't joined that group, I'd love for you to join it because we talk about the podcast each week, and that's where you can share comments and takeaways from it. But starting April 11th, so that's next Friday, we are going to kick off Mindset Movement and Meal Prep. It's free and it's my little passion project of giving back. Basically, you get all of my favorite mindset tips and tools. We work through the overwhelm guide that I put together, and I talk a little bit about movement, why it's important, and I give you 3 short little yoga videos that you can partake in and give your feedback in the safety of your own home. It's just a virtual thing that you can take a part of. And then I put together this meal prep guide for a partnership that I did with a local kickboxing studio. They were doing a challenge for their members, but it was a really cool opportunity for me to talk through, like, when it comes to meal prep, like what are the tips? Because everyone wants to meal prep. They want to save time in the kitchen. They want to eat healthier, save money, eat less chemicals, whatever it is for you, right? Like, why meal prep's important. But what I find, what meal prep is actually good for is supporting you and your goals. So all of those things that I asked you, if you are on a journey like me, that's like, I want to be present. I want to learn to trust myself. I want to learn that I'm just as valuable as everyone else. I want to support other people, but make sure that I'm supported as well. And I want to show up as my best self. If you are that person too, or if any of those questions are things that you know you need to answer, like, what am I trying to create? And you just know that something's for you. Meal prep can help with that. Oddly enough, something as simple as pre-preparing a meal or knowing what you're going to eat for dinner, it can be so supportive of your personal goals outside of the kitchen. So I don't come to you as someone that loves to cook. I don't come to you as someone who does meal prep perfectly. And I wouldn't call myself a guru even, but I do have 14 years of experience with Pampered Chef and using tools that are meant to save time and money and get families around the dinner table so they can spend quality time together. It's a relationship, not all about the food. So when I was putting this packet together, it really became that meal prep is a mindset. It's about reducing decision fatigue. It's about saving you time. It's about taking this challenge of what's for dinner every night off the table and just helping you feel supported. So I have this packet for those who are part of this mindset movement and meal prep event. Go to the show notes. I'll have a link there to join. And when you join, you'll let me know that you are joining mindset movement and meal prep event. It'll be a choice on there. You can then download my meal prep guide and we'll go through it during the event as well if you need some extra guidance. So that's what I have for you today. Gosh, I hope you are enjoying. I can't even come up with words for how grateful I am that you've been part of this start of the podcast. I hope that you enjoy these interviews that are coming up in the next few weeks, and I hope that you'll also give me some feedback on them. What do you want to hear about? Are you liking learning a little bit about human design? Is there anything that I've mentioned that you're like, I hope she does an episode about that? I'm open to that, guys. We're early on, so I would love to know if you have questions for me about anything we've talked about. I would love to do a little bit of a deeper dive on those as well. So thank you so much. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for tuning in to Inspired by Design with Katie Rupert. If today's episode sparked something in you, I'd love to hear about it. Share your takeaways, subscribe, or even leave a review to help others find the show. For more tools and insights, visit my free Facebook group. And until next time, keep embracing exactly who you are and move forward one inspired action at a time.